Do you want some more?
I actually do. I've drank more than I thought. Oh, am I pouring it? Fucking
Sorry,
hell.
Castro's trying to...
Manners have gone out the window, I see.
Castro's trying to eat the...
Romance is dead.
Oh, Jessica. Castro's trying to lick the
I
top.
don't make it... Oh, don't lick it, Castro. You know when I said to you I had a confession to make? And like we were in the kitchen the other day and I said to you, in a minute I've got a confession to make to you, don't let me forget.
Oh, shit.
And we both forgot, didn't we?
What was your confession?
My confession is that I found a little bottle of Smirnoff Ice that we'd walked... Where had we gone home from? And I put it in the... Oh, yeah, we brought it home from the pub because I hadn't drank it, had I?
No.
Yeah, well, it went stale on the side because I still didn't drink it. And then I went outside and tipped it down the grid.
Oh.
What?
Go on.
And then there was a puddle of it.
Yeah.
And the puppy drank it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I tried to pull her away from it. I thought, what the fuck is she licking down near that grid? And I was like, oh, shit.
Great.
Anyway, so Carlo had some Smirnoff Ice last week.
Great.
Sorry.
Do you know what's really funny about that is that you said, oh, why don't you pour it down the grid? And I was like, oh, no, I won't, because I was pouring some, like, food away, some, like, soup or that had water in it. And I was like, oh, no, I won't, because Carlo will try and drink it. And you went, yeah, I've got a confession to make about that. I used my initiative, and you obviously didn't.
No, I didn't. Sorry.
It's okay. Well...
She liked it, although...
She likes everything.
No, sorry.
She just hates part of the wall, Jessica.
Yeah, no, that's actually not quite true. She did do that weird backward sneezing thing about 8 times after she drank it.
Oh my God!
And I got a little bit worried, and then I started thinking, oh, I should probably tell Jaimi. And then she stopped and she was fine. I thought, oh, I got away with it, I think. She did. I think she found... I don't know what it was about it, but she kind of, like, did a weird sneezing thing.
Oh my God. Do you know what? People are probably going to like write into us after this and be like, oh my God, you should have taken your dog to a vet.
Oh,
like
just
straight
put
away.
a bum in my crisps.
She's saying you've had enough crisps.
I don't want bum crisps. Fuck's sake, Castro.
Right. Oh my God, I feel like I need to Google that now.
I Googled it. I think it's fine.
Yeah, she's fine.
And that was
it was only a tiny bit, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a tiny bit in the bottom of a bottle, but it like some of it went down the grid and some of it sort of pulled to the side. And then she, like, ran out. You know what she's like?
Yeah, I know
she's
what
a
she's like.
fucker. Anyway, I pulled her. I had to physically pick her up off the floor and pull her away, which is not easy because she's so big and heavy. And I managed to get her away, but and then she sort of did this thing where she looked at me and she was sort of going, she was like, oh my God, what the fuck was that? And then she started doing backward sneezing and shit. I was just like watching in the garden thinking, oh shit, what have I done? Poisoned the puppy. Just thought to myself, oh no, I've got to fucking admit to the vet now that I drink Smirnoff Ice.
That's what you've taken from that.
Well, no, it was more that she drank Smirnoff Ice, to be honest with you. Anyway, welcome to the Wandering Womb podcast.
Yep. We're drinking Jamshed again tonight, aren't we? Both of us.
Yeah. Today's podcast is sponsored by Jamshed, which is really exciting, isn't it, that we've got a sponsorship?
You're just saying things to hope they come true.
I just think that I think it's an insult that they haven't contacted us, frankly. So I'm just going to start telling people that they sponsor the podcast because eventually they'll get in touch and tell us they're going to sue us. So I think we should say...
Jamshed are not radical feminists.
Yeah. So yeah, this podcast is sponsored today by Jamshed. Best Shiraz in Australia.
Yep, and also in Morrison's.
And you can go out and buy it, but please could you leave some on the shelf for me and Jaimi because this is getting fucking ridiculous.
It is getting ridiculous and it keeps selling out now.
And I think you're being very selfish. And we keep going into supermarkets and you drinking it all, and that's not fair because we found it first and then we shared it with you lot and now fucking 20,000 of you have fucking bought it all. Which isn't fair. At least leave us bottle. I had to buy some from a petrol station not long ago, okay? It's not... Okay. Okay, we are going to be talking about...
It's episode 12, by the way.
Episode 12 of Series 2.
Series 2, episode 12.
We are just about to reach 30,000 downloads.
We are.
Which is just mad shit. So, we're going to be talking about rumours.
Yeah.
And, like, like rumours that have gone around about me and you.
Yep. And us.
And us together.
As a collective.
And then we're just going to fucking chat about them because some of it's just awful. Some of it's ridiculous. Yeah. So we decided to go back as far as we could remember and do the ones from school first. Obviously, we didn't go to school together because we're from completely different areas.
Yeah.
So I haven't told Jaimi the ones that I'm going to tell her, and I don't think you told me one. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who goes first?
There's more rumours went around about you than me, so you go first.
Fucking hell. Okay.
That's what you told me. Honestly, Jessica.
Okay. My earliest rumour that went around about me is actually what I think is the funniest one.
Go on.
I don't know if I've told you this, but I think I have. A rumour went round my primary school about me when I was a kid that my dad worked in a dildo factory. And this lad...
When you were in primary school?
In primary school.
Oh my God, I didn't know what a dildo was until I was like...
I didn't know what a dildo
15.
was, Jaimi. I didn't know what one was. All that I knew was that everybody thought that my dad worked in a dildo factory. And I was like, what's a dildo factory? And then this lad, I don't remember it. I know exactly which playground I was stood on. I know exactly where I was. And I remember this lad, Dean, coming up to me and saying...
Was it Dean?
Yeah, Pumpkinhead Dean.
Oh.
Yeah. And he came up to me and he was like, I've heard that your dad works in a dick factory and he makes dicks all day. And that's what he does for a living, just makes dicks. And then he comes home and he just puts them on your head. And I was just absolutely horrified. I was in primary school. And then, like, all the other kids were like, is it true? Does your dad work in a dick factory and makes dildos? And I was like, I don't know what they are. And then someone told me it was a rubber dick. Yeah, so that was a difficult one because my dad actually worked for the council as a gardener.
Fair enough.
And as far as I am aware, because there is a possibility that was a cover story for his dildo job, but as far as I'm aware, he worked as a gardener.
Gardener of bushes.
Yeah.
Did he trim the bushes, Jess?
Yeah. Fucking hell. It was ridiculous. And I remember that went on for weeks. It was awful. And I remember getting dead upset about it. And then there were some boys that had made this rumour up and thought it was dead funny. They'd obviously learnt some new language from some idiot, because we were only in primary school. And then the same lad called me a condom, and I thought he called me a comrade. So I went to the teacher. I was only a little man. And I went to the teacher and I said, Dean keeps calling me a condom. And Mrs. Brown said, Jessica, do you know what a condom is? And I said, well, this is a bit I don't get, Mrs. Brown, because I thought a condom was someone that was like, you know, an ally, like nice to each other and they worked together. And she was like, a comrade, and I was like, yeah. And she was like, no, not one of them.
Fucking hell, that hurts. That hurts. Oh my God.
So, yeah. And if I remember rightly, there was a second conversation about it, because then I said to her, well, what is a condom? And then she said, what was it? And then she was like, I'm not going to tell you that, Jessica, because you're too young, and I think that's for your parents. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I think I went back to her and I was like, I think I figured out what a condom is. And she was like, oh, God. And then she was like, well, what do you think it is? And I said, is it someone that works in the military? Is it someone who works in the military? She just looked at it. I remember when she looked at it. And she was like, no. And I mixed condom up with commando.
Oh my God, that hurts. Oh.
Anyway, that was mine. That's my
Oh my
first one.
god, that's amazing. Mine is so shit compared to yours.
No, mine was a shit one. It's just that my interpretation of it was funny because I had no idea what was going on. In hindsight, someone needed to go talk to that kid.
Yeah, about how he knew about all
What
these.
a condom and a dildo was.
Yeah. Oh my god. I don't remember anything going around about me in like primary school at all.
I think that's the only one in primary school about me.
I didn't have much go around about me. Not that I fucking know of. maybe I just never found out. There was one when I was probably from when I was about 13. If you heard that noise, that was Castro stretching. From when I was about 13, I had fake boobs.
Oh my god, that's on my list.
No way.
I put stuffed her bra with tissue.
Yeah, so so like some people were being like, oh, like you're like, so like some of my close friends knew what my bra size was because I had like quite big boobs, and I'd be like, oh, fucking, does anyone have this size? Because like I'm really struggling or whatever. And then people would be like, oh, you're lying about it. You don't actually like have D-cup boobs, and like, oh, you know, you must put stuff in your bras, and like you're always trying to show off your boobs, and they're not even real.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I'm 14. Like,
yeah,
why
hard,
would I do that? So yeah, that was one, and that's never really left me actually until I started to get a bit older, and I wore sort of more revealing clothes. And obviously it was obvious that I wasn't lying because I was showing my cleavage. And then I got a nickname that was called Cleavage.
Lovely.
Yeah. That was quite funny though. It wasn't really offensive.
That's so similar to what happened to me. So so where I grew up, you had middle schools. Most of you listening to this think, what the fuck's on about? Where I grew up, you had first school, middle school, and then what we call high school. So in most areas of the UK, there's primary school and secondary school, but in my area, there wasn't. So there was what we called first school, middle school, and then high school. So middle school is year 5 to year 8. It's a separate school. And I went to middle school, and that was where everyone said that I stuffed my bra with tissue. And I remember my auntie buying me a bra because I was like a 30F when I was like 12 or something ridiculous, and it just came out of nowhere. And my auntie had come round and said to my mum, she's going to need like something, and like I didn't have anything. And I didn't know what those numbers meant. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know why everyone kept saying that I was stuffing my bra with tissue. And I remember being like, no, I'm not. Why would anybody do that? And it just didn't even occur to me that anybody would do that. Because I was in so much pain with my boobs growing up that I just couldn't.
And it's so hard to find nice
Do you remember
bras?
going up and down stairs?
Yeah. Yeah,
the
I do.
pain of going up and down stairs when you're a
And doing
teenage
PE.
girl. Yeah. I remember holding my boobs all the time when I was like walking up fast or running or up and down stairs, and physically like, putting my arms across them and holding them to my chest, being like, oh my god, this hurts so much. So like the whole like stuffing your bra with tissue, I just didn't understand it at all, and it did my head in. And people used to say things like, oh, I saw tissue falling out of Jess Taylor's bra the other day, and I was like, no, that's not possible. Like, no, you didn't. Why are you making that up? It was so hard. That went on for years, like you.
Yeah.
And then, okay, I mean, I'm not advocating this, so for God's sake, like, if any teenager says, fuck knows why you're listening, you shouldn't be listening, turn it off, is that I flashed a load of kids at my school because I was raging, and I've got this temper, I've got a temperament that I've had since I was a kid, where you can push me and push me and push me and push me, literally for months or years, and I won't react, and I won't react, and I won't react, and then eventually I'll snap.
Yeah.
And I remember these kids had not left me alone for getting on 4 or 5 years, so I was probably about...
Boys or girls or both?
Both.
Yeah.
And they were literally like pushing me to the brink of tears nearly every single day. And then it got to the point where they were like, well, if you don't stuff your bra, you should like fucking get your tits out. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. It's like, I know what you're trying to do. And they were like, yeah, it's because you stuff your bra. And I was like, I was trapped. What do I do? And I remember just being like, do you know what? Fuck off. And I was in full school uniform in the music block. And I was like, there you go. And everyone just shut up. And then after that, I got a fucking nickname that I could never get rid of.
What was it? Oh.
What do you mean, oh?
I just remembered it.
I hope it's the one you think it is. I got called Jordan Jr. for the rest of high school. Because Jordan was like a big thing at the time, like Katie Price, as she's known as now. and it was just awful, and nobody would let it drop. And, you know, oh God, it was so bad, that rumour. And then the other one was that girls would, not just me, girls with big boobs she always sticks her chest out.
Yeah.
She's like sticking her chest out. Shit, no. It's like, we've all got different size boobs, you fucking moron.
Yeah, I used to get that, and it was literally...
And I roll my shoulders.
I ended up rolling my shoulders,
Yeah.
and then my mum would always like, "Oh, Jaimi, your posture's so bad."
Yeah.
Like, if I stand up straight, I get accused of like shoving my tits out. And...
I still don't stand straight.
No, I don't.
Still, and my physio tells me off all the time because I roll my shoulders still to this day. And when I walk, I roll my shoulders. If I'm out in public, I roll my shoulders. You'll see me like giving a talk. If I'm on the telly, I roll my shoulders. Like, I really don't want to be fucking, like, sat there with my spine straight, because it does look like, I don't know, it looks like you're pushing your boobs out, and, like, that comes from fucking middle school for me. I hated that. It was so hard.
Yeah.
It was so hard. That's a really difficult one, and that's yeah. What else have you got? You got any more?
Yeah.
What, from school?
Yeah. Well, there was always rumours like, oh yeah, she's shagging this person or whatever, and that was never true.
I actually didn't have any rumours like that go around about me, about who I was sleeping with.
You're not?
No, I didn't, which is lucky. Which we'll get onto at another podcast, but like, because I'd been messing around with girls, I'm very, very lucky that no rumours went around. Like, no one said shit. Because I don't know how I would have coped with that as a teenager.
Yeah. So this was more when I was in sixth form. I had this boyfriend who was fucking horrible, and then we broke up. We were a bit on and off, and he was a few years older than me, and I think quite a lot of girls in my year fancied him and were quite jealous. I don't know why. He was nothing fucking special.
Yeah, bum fluff.
No, he didn't. To be fair, like he did have a beard. I think that's probably why they fancied him. I don't know. I didn't even fancy him myself. And anyway, and then these girls started making up rumours about me. There was this one rumour that they were basically trying to make out to him, because he would like say, like, these girls in your year have said this, like, or whatever. They were basically, I think, trying to make out that I'd like gone off the rails since we'd broken up or something.
Oh my word.
Yeah, I know. There's this one rumour that I started letting guys snort coke off my tits. I was like 17. I was like, what? I'd never done coke, nor let anybody snort it off my tits, nor had I ever let anyone snort anything off my tits, because I was 17.
Oh my god, I do you think you're like living in Diary of a Call Girl?
I've not seen that, so I don't know. And then there's this one.
Living in a hip hop video.
Fucking hell.
Oh my god.
Also, that's a fucking waste of like coke, because most of that is going to fall down your cleavage. Anyway, and then there's this one that I'd become a pothead, and I think I'd like shared a joint with someone. Like, I think that was it, really. At that point, and this was before I'd done like any drugs whatsoever, really. And yeah, so there was that, and I was just like, what the fuck? Like, why would that go around? Ultimately, it did make me sound quite a lot cooler than I actually was. So it sort of backfired.
Like, you'd ended up being this sort of like mysterious, off the rails.
Yeah, oh yeah, exactly. And nobody knew who I was doing
and people
these.
snort fucking coke on the tits and
exactly.
shit. She fucking smokes weed all the time. You're at home studying.
Yeah, exactly. So I was getting like great grades and shit, and fucking no one had any idea
All
who I
the
was doing all these.
reputation, none of the hassle.
Yeah, doing all these like drugs with like people who nobody knew who I was doing these drugs with. So I just
All these mysterious people
became quite, you know.
that you're having coke parties
Like,
with.
wow. Yeah, except I never was.
Coke parties and straight A's, motherfucker.
I didn't get straight A's. Not in sixth form.
You did amazing.
Eventually, not in my first year. Fucking hell, my first year was fucking... Oof. It was like Hitler Youth. No, it wasn't. I'm sorry for saying that. I did call it that, though, but I was young and didn't, you know.
Didn't understand the severity of that accusation.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. All right, what about you?
That I didn't live in a real house.
What?
A rumour went round because this girl said that I didn't
That
live
was
in
a
a real
rumour?
house. Yeah, I had to deal with it several times. That I didn't live in a real house.
Yeah.
And what they meant by didn't live in a real house is that we lived in a council house. And apparently that wasn't a real house. So she was like, we were walking home and she'd never walked home that way before. And I got to my house and she was like, oh, like, is this where you live? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, but this is like the council estate. I was like, yeah, I know, this is where I live. And she was like, but my mum says that this is where people live who can't afford real houses. And I was like looking at my house like, what? Like, cause I didn't understand renting, mortgages or social housing because I'd always lived in social housing, so I didn't know what it was. And I remember going into like my mum and dad at the time and being like, what is this house? And they were like, what do you mean? I was like, do we own this house? They were like, no. And I was like, why? Like, I'd never had that conversation.
Yeah.
But then she went back to the school and told all the posh kids that I didn't live in a real house, that I lived in like, in her words, it wasn't real, it was a council house, and that it was the kind of house that poor people have to live in. And oh my God, I just got fucking rinsed. And then that actually started a lot of the stuff around, you know, like basically rumours that I was really poor. So like people would check what crisps I was eating, like what brand crisps I was eating and what brand my chocolate bar was and like what brand my trainers were, because I was never wearing branded anything, and my you know, food was always like Smart Price or the Morrison's brand or whatever it was. Like, so rather, I'd never ate a Penguin. What were they called? Not a penguin. What were the fucking, not penguins, what were they fucking called?
It was another sort of...
Like, cold animal.
Yeah, it was another, yeah.
What were they fucking called?
I don't know.
Oh, something, but it'll come to me at some point and then I'll just shout it out partway through this podcast. But yeah, I'd always had like different, you know, whatever, and oh God, I got rinsed for it for years, man. And then another one went round that was really difficult because there was nothing I could do about it. Again, that I was like really, really poor when I was 16, and that was because one of the posh, I'd made the mistake of letting one of the rich kids in where I was living, and basically she took the piss out of my sofa because we didn't have a proper sofa. We just had like 2 chairs.
What do you mean 2 chairs?
Like, as in like 2 single chairs. Do you know what I mean? Like not a full sofa, not a 2-seater, just 2 chairs.
Yeah, I get you.
And she was like, "Where's your sofa?" And I was like, "We don't have a sofa." And she was just like, I remember instantly thinking, "What have you done? Why have you let her in your house?" And then, oh my gosh, just spread it all around the school that. Oh, it was just awful. I just remember being so embarrassed.
That's so weird. That would never happen where I went to school.
Really?
Yeah.
I for anyone that's never had or not heard this before, or maybe I've not explained it, I grew up in a really weird little area where there was literally a brook that splits our little town in half, and on one side of the brook was the council estate and all like the sort of less well-off families, and on the other side of the brook, the fucking whatever it was, Barrett Homes or some fucking massive construction company came. And it was all meadows when I was growing up, and then they fucking built a massive housing estate on it of all like 4-bedroom detached houses, and then loads of rich families with kids moved into it. So when I was a little girl, that was all like fields and hedges and fucking farmland, and it all got sold. So by the time I was like maybe sort of 10 or 11, it was filled with new builds and houses that were getting bought up. So what happened was, on one side of the brook you've got the council, the old mining estate, and then you walk down the road, you cross over the bridge over the brook, and on the other side were a fuck ton of fucking 250 grand houses.
Yeah. And
so like what happened is, in our middle schools and our high schools, there was a very, very obvious wealth gap.
Yeah.
And it was like it was just, there were just 2 different worlds.
Much more spread out. There was like serious differences between the range, but it wasn't like that. It was much more spread out.
I think ours was like obviously split in half because it was geographically split down the centre of the town, and you can't like escape that. You're either on one side of the brook or the other side.
Yeah.
There's no fucking 2 ways around that. And I tell you nothing, there was no fucking private rented houses up there. They were all owned.
Yeah.
If you rented, you were over the other side of the fucking rock. Like, oh, anyway. So, yeah, she was on the posh side with the big houses. She was actually really quite rich. Her family didn't live in one of the new builds. They lived in one of the big, old, owned, detached, like 5-bedroom houses. You know, the sort of double-fronted, like, big, old, detached houses near the school. And it was beautiful. All the houses on that road are beautiful. But, yeah, she was sort of... Her family had money, if you know what I mean. But, have you got any more from school, or do you want to...
I don't think I've really got any. There's more like general ones from school that are just, you know.
Because we were so me and Jamie have been talking about the fact that Jamie commented just before we started this podcast that it's almost like high school never ends.
Yeah,
That's what you said to me, isn't it?
I said let's name it High School Never Ends.
Yeah, and
because it literally doesn't.
No, and it feels like we're still having rumours go around about us right now.
Yeah.
And it's, I think in a way, it's even more difficult to manage.
Well, like, okay, so for example, me and you met up for a drink about maybe 2.5 years ago, something like that, before we were together. And we just like
when we were with Rach?
No, before then we went to the...
Ah, no, that happened after...
No, it didn't.
We went out with Rach?
No, it didn't.
Did it not?
Nope.
Oh.
Nope. Way before then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And
it's probably a bit more than 2.5 years now because we've been together for over 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Only a little bit though, I imagine.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. And somebody who worked in this like cocktail bar must have like seen me, who knew me. I didn't see anyone who I knew. It must have been someone who knew me, I don't know. And then they spread around that I was like, I don't know, they must have caught the vibes that I obviously fancied you.
Yeah, because nothing happened, because we'd gone for this drink. I think it must have been body language or eye contact or something.
Yeah, something.
Because we just sat and had some lunch and drank.
Yeah, we literally had some lunch and had like a couple of cocktails each. That was literally it.
Yeah.
And someone was saying, oh yeah, she's seeing one of her lecturers. And like, it's like, what? And because... somebody told my friend, and my mate was like, were you out with one of your lecturers? I was like, what? What are you on about? Because I assumed they were on about Birmingham, which is where I went to university. And I was like, what? Who said that? And I was like, and they were like, oh, in this particular bar. And I was like, oh, you mean Jess?
Oh my God.
I was like, what? And I don't know, maybe someone had seen online that you lecture. And then they just assumed
just put 2 and 2 together
that
and got 5.
I obviously go to university, not the university that you lectured at or anything like that, the university that we were both students at. And then it just like tried to say that. And then sort of a similar thing happened when we actually got together. Someone was saying that like you were my boss at the time and you weren't. And that like I just like left a bloke and ran off with my boss. But it's like what you said. I mentioned this one to you, and what was it you said?
I just said it's fucking not far off like a fucking lesbian sexual fantasy.
I know,
really,
yeah.
Is it?
I think that's maybe what they wanted to have happened, but it's not.
I think people want things to be illicit. They want rumours. I think rumours are sometimes about spreading around almost like sensationalist illicit gossip.
Absolutely.
Where often the reality is very boring. You know what I mean? It's not the same as like they talk it up to something ridiculous when it's actually instead very normal. There's loads of rumours that go around about our relationship still.
Oh, we have and now we're more in the public eye, like especially you, and then obviously me by like association. We have so many rumours go around about us. Literally nothing changes.
Yeah.
In fact, wasn't there a rumour that went around about you and your boobs and our boobs? Which is funny because that's exactly the rumours that went around about us when we were fucking 14.
Do you know what? I was just about to say that. Yeah. So
in fact, these are all the same fucking rumours.
Yeah, they are. I'd not thought about it like this, but they are actually the same rumours. So there was I was in a Radfem group, and unfortunately, I've come out of
what? Singing.
What what you were doing. I was in loads of radfem groups that I really loved, like Facebook groups and closed forums and groups and stuff that I was like proper happy in. And I've come out of all of them because I've since seen really personal things that I posted in there being shared online, like as a way of gossiping about me or starting rumours, which has properly upset me. And I've not confronted anyone. I've just walked away from it all because I felt like that was a safe space and it wasn't. And one of the things that I posted in one of those groups was to ask, does anybody have any recommendations of where you can get decent, comfy, non-wired bras from? Yeah. Because, you know, like my boobs are big, they do me head in. I would love a reduction. Yeah.
I actually suggested you not wearing a bra, if you remember.
Don't. But yeah, remember? No. But like,
you notice me.
What you like? No, like, I remember just feeling like if you could ask anywhere, you would think it would be in a group full of radfems that were older than us and had been through life, and I just thought, you know, I was
who
really
weren't gonna like
judge or be a twat about it, and
or
like
sexualised.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You know.
And I like it was a closed private group, and I was just like, you know, does anybody know where? And I was just saying, like, I gave the size that I was, and I was just like, look, I'm really struggling. And I just wondered, does anybody...
You were talking about your back pain as well?
Yeah, because my physio has told me that the only way that some of this will go away is if I actually have a surgical reduction. And then I went for the meeting with the consultant, the surgeon, and it you know, and it's a really fucking big procedure. And I've never actually been under a general anaesthetic. I've had some other operations, and they've not been under a general. And I don't know what it is, but the prospect of a general actually really scares me. So I really do want a breast reduction, but I just like... I'm too scared. I'm just too scared to do it. Like every time that I get upset enough and I think, no, that's it, I'm having a reduction, I just can't like commit to it. I keep worrying that something will go wrong. So I just thought, look, I'm going to have to like find some other solutions. And so I had this conversation on this closed group with other feminists about what they used, and lots of women going, oh, I've tried this, have you tried that, have you tried this brand? And they were sending links. And then when my book got published... It was a
really helpful...
Yeah, it was. It was really... I actually bought a bra off that.
Yeah.
Like, someone sent me a link to this really cool place, and I was like, oh my God, these look amazing. And they're like crop tops, basically. And they're like, no wires, nothing like that. Really comfy. Thought that was great. And then when the book got published, I saw a thread on Twitter saying... Like, one of these women saying, oh, I was in a group with her, and she's obsessed with her own tits. And she posts all the time about her tits. I was like, I posted one starting about bra recommendations. And then there was this whole thread being like, oh my God, I get those vibes off her as well. She's obsessed with her own tits. And I was just like, what the fuck? And I didn't even like, I just read this thread from a distance and just thought, what the fuck is wrong with people?
It's
like,
ridiculous, isn't it?
So there was that one about being obsessed with my own tits, which is like the same as what we've dealt with at school.
Yep.
And then there's like oh my God, the rumour about us like being fake lesbian.
Oh yeah.
Oh my Lord. We have never addressed this. Now I don't know if we ever will. The complexity of us both coming out and the complexity of both of like the lives that we've both led as lesbians that couldn't come out. And part of the reason that I don't feel safe sharing that or talking about it, as much as there are so many women who write to me about it on the quiet and stuff, is that it's mocked. And it's like, and it's been ridiculed from the moment me and Jaimi came out. We've both been ridiculed by women who should fucking know better.
Yeah.
And I don't feel, and there's not a lot of things I won't talk publicly about because I'm generally not sort of scared of any conversation, but I actually don't feel like anything we would say would actually be almost like taken seriously, and that it would just be fucking used as more fucking rumours.
Yeah.
But, you know, we really... it's safe to say that both of us really struggled for a long period of our lives in lots of different ways, way before we ever knew each other.
Yeah.
And the fact that when we did finally come out and also say that we were together, that we were instantly met with like, yeah, well, they're doing it to sell more books. I was like... has anybody got any evidence that being a gay woman means that you sell more books? I don't think it does it? I think it's the opposite of that.
Yeah.
Like, there was that one, and then there was that, like, we were doing it. Do you remember all those threads about saying that we basically pretend to be lesbians for the male gaze and that we do it to turn men on?
That one really pisses me off, though. Like, I fancy femme women. I fancy women who are more girly. And if that means that I'm taken in by the cult, like porn culture and stuff, then so be it. Like, I can't help that, but that doesn't mean that if I'm doing it, it's not for men.
Yeah, no.
When I was like, you know...
Such
like,
an oversimplified view as well, almost
yeah.
like women's bodies are only, like, not for themselves, not for, even if they're a lesbian and they're with their partners, that nothing that they do could possibly be for themselves or their female partners, it's definitely for men.
Yeah.
Like, it's
and like, when women, like, get their bodies out a bit more, that doesn't mean that it's for men. Men will literally sexualise anything,
yeah,
right?
sexualise if you've got a fucking boiler suit on, mate.
Yeah, literally, they will. But, like, I find you really attractive when you're wearing, like, next to nothing.
And I prefer to wear lots of clothes. And then you get Mardy.
But, like, that you're not, like, when you wear, like, certain things, you're not wearing it for men. You're either wearing it for yourself because it looks nice or it's comfy, or sometimes you might be wearing it for me.
One of the things I do know that happened was that, like, once I was able to be with you and that I knew that I could definitely just live as a lesbian woman, I actually felt more comfortable in my appearance and my body and my clothes than I ever have. Like, I know that my whole life before now, if I was to look at the clothes that I wore and the way I did my hair and didn't really wear makeup or anything like that, was actually about avoiding men and not being attractive. And I never, ever wanted, to be attractive to men. And it actually really quite, what's the word I'm looking for, revolted me. So, like, sometimes men would chat me up or come on to me or say something to me, or even that, like, even to the point, honestly, where they wouldn't even be that offensive, and I would just be like, stop talking, go away, don't talk to me, I'm not interested in you. And actually being able to, like, be myself and be with you and be and sort of be comfortable with the fact that I've never been attracted to men, I don't want to be attracted to men, I'm not interested in men, actually means that I kind of feel like I can decide to wear something that I really want to wear without thinking, oh God, I better not do that because some fucking man's going to try and come on to me. Yeah. It's almost like I've been able to, like, shut that off. So now I'm like, I don't fucking care. It's not my problem. It's their problem. Yeah. And yet the judgment and the rumours that have gone around about me and you because of that has just been really harmful, actually. Yeah. I'm trying to think of the other ones. What's the other ones that I wrote down? I want to finish on one that's for a laugh.
Go on.
The rumour that I lie about my age.
Do you lie about your age?
Sorry.
How many years are you in VA years?
Oh, mate. Right, so there's this rumour that's been going around in gender critical feminism for like 2 years now that I just lie about my age all the time. I don't know where it's come from because I've never lied about my age. And there's this obsession with how old I am, and I've seen loads of posts and threads about it. And I just don't understand where it's come from, because if you just fucking look at my social media, once a fucking year, my age goes up by 1. Like, how do you get this? How have you got this confused? So, like, I was 30 in October just gone, and it's still then people posted up being like, is she though?
People like, that's funny because she was 32 years ago.
I was like, since when? When have I ever said I was 32
But why do people
years
fucking
ago?
care? But, like, 2 years ago, you might have, in, like, one little post, you might have said, wow, I've been alive nearly 30 years. And people might have been like, oh, that means she's 30.
I know that hasn't happened. Yeah. I just don't even know.
But it's so weird that people are that obsessed with, oh, she lies about her age. Like,
so I said to Jaimi, right, that from now on, I'm actually going to lie about my age. And I'm just going to confuse the fuck out of people. So, for those of you, for the cliterati that listen to the Wandering Womb podcast, if you ever see me just randomly claim that I'm like 41 in a tweet, go along with it. Because because I'm just doing it to wind people up. I've had enough. I'm sick of people claiming that I lie about my age. So, it's my birthday in October, and I'm actually 31, but I am going to announce that I am the big 40.
No, you should announce something more ridiculous. You should say that you're like 27.
Well, just go backwards.
Yeah, go
like Benjamin
backwards.
Button.
And then go back, just hop backwards and forwards.
What, and just be like, each year be like, oh, I'm 27, and then be like, oh, I'm 28, but oh, I'm 27, oh, I'm 28.
I'm more like 27, 36, 21, 30.
It's just the most ridiculous thing. I don't know how on earth do you have a rumour go around about you that you lie about your age. What the fuck would I be lying about, or why?
Yeah. How long have we got left?
4 minutes.
I think we need to address quite a serious one.
Oh my god, really? In
Yeah.
4 minutes, how do you expect me to do
I think
that?
I think we should just address it. And it's sort of already come up, and that's why it's made me realise that, you know, I don't know why so many people have said that.
Go on then. I'm gonna drink.
So
You can do it, and I'm drinking.
So this week we got a phone call from a really close friend of ours, and she said that basically her friend had been out with some friends who had said that basically Jess was my lecturer and that she groomed me into a relationship.
When she was like young.
Yeah, when I was like, whatever, I don't know. And apparently this is quite a big one that apparently a lot of people talk about.
Yeah. So fucking bad.
But it's like,
do people even understand the gravity of some of the rumours that they're actually fucking spreading?
yeah, and like
How serious that is, even if I was ever your lecturer, which has never happened because
no,
I've never lectured you
but
or,
why
or
did
taught
there's
you
so
anything.
many things within this. Like, I didn't even study psychology.
Oh, I know.
So you wouldn't be. Second of all, we were both at the University of Birmingham as students at the same time.
In completely different schools.
Yeah, in completely different schools. And then you lectured at different... you've never been my lecturer. And we got together when I was 21.
I know.
And you were like 28.
I don't think... I was 27.
27. Yeah, you were 27.
You were 21 and I was 27.
Yeah.
Not that anybody gives a fuck
No,
about
not
the
that
truth.
But
Because
like,
it's so easy to
no,
find.
but
Just go on our
say
social media.
something,
Just
though?
go on our social medias and drag it back as far as you can. You can't find
Nobody
anything.
said a word when you were with Alex when you were 17, 18 and he was like 25.
Oh, well, there's a double standard with men, isn't there? So you can see women
But
with
why is
like
it
a man who's
acceptable?
like 10, 15, 20 years older than them. No one gives a shit.
Yeah, why is it acceptable for like a mid-20s guy to be going out with a teenager, but not for me and you to be together when I'm 21 and you're 27 or whatever? Do you know what I mean? Like, pisses me off, man. But it's like, it's so serious, and it's really pissed me off, and it's really upset me, because that means that people are like obviously seeing me as some sort of grooming victim. Not like I'm a woman at 21.
Yeah, I know.
Like, I can fucking vote. Do you know what I mean? It just pisses me off, and it's pissed me off that people are gossiping.
Yeah, and
they're not even gossiping like that hard. Like, they're not even doing that much research. 'Cause if anybody cared, they would have either to speak to us or they would actually look up these things. These things aren't hard to find.
No, I know.
But for whatever reason, people are choosing to gossip about it.
I know, it's just such a fucking horrible thing to attack us with as well, like both of us. Also, though, like, if anyone was actually concerned that somebody had been groomed by somebody else in a professional position, the fuck? Why haven't you reported it? Why haven't you said something to the victim? Why haven't you gone and protected the so-called victim? Why are you fucking gossiping about it? Talking to fucking strangers about it and shit. Like, it's just been so harmful. Like, the amount of work...
I came on to you.
Yeah, that's true. You came on to me, not the other way around. That's so true. But yeah, like, it really upset me this week. I had a couple of days really upset because I just can't believe the depths that some people are sinking to. And I don't even know really, like, exactly where this is coming from or why.
Yeah.
And it's, the amount of work that both me and now Jaimi puts into work around violence against women and girls and abuse and grooming and stuff like that, and you just think as if you're going to throw that out.
Yeah, I know. It's literally like the worst thing that they can do. Anyway, I think we're like sort of running out of time now, aren't we, babe?
I know. Honestly, it's a hard one. Rumours are just fucking awful.
Nothing ever changes.
And all of the like celebrities
Especially
that I've
for women.
spoken to have told me to just not rise at all and like never respond and like never try and defend them or anything.
Yeah. Nothing changes, especially when you're a woman.
Yeah, well, you know what they say.
It's always the silent ones who do crack.
They're not going to know what that means.
Let's do a cheers.
They're not going to know what that means. That's amazing.